Today we're going to demonstrate seam peaking in carpet. This is something that concerns people from time to time because they say, I can see the seam. And sometimes that's going to be the case, and there's no workmanship issue or carpet related issue which is related to seeing the seam, just as we see seams in clothing all the time and no one's concerned about that. This is a type of visible seam that you also should not be concerned about. What I've done is I've built a jig or a demonstration device here out of wood, and I did that because carpet has a thickness which is fairly thin. From the top to here on the bottom, it's not a lot of dimension here, so it's hard to see what's going on. So what I've done here is pretend that this top part of the wood is the top of the carpet and this is the bottom of the carpet, so now we have a carpet that's this thick. It's going to be a lot easier to see what's going on. I've taken some bright red carpet binding and I've heat glued it to this wood, and I've also heat melted a piece of carpet binding to the bottom here. Now the reason why I attached this is, let's pretend that this is our seam tape. Carpet is normally seamed with a heat melt seam tape, and that tape is applied to the bottom of the carpet. So far it looks like everything's perfect. The carpet is nice and straight, there's no problem here. What the issue is when we go to stretch the carpet in. The installer is going to stretch the carpet so it's nice and tight in the room. And when we stretch the carpet, this is what happens. I've pulled on the carpet. I'm pulling nice and straight. I'm not pulling up or down or anything, just pulling straight. And when I do that, the carpet ends up with a bend like this. And this happens with real carpets, although I've done this with a thick piece of wood to exaggerate it so that you can see it more plainly. In your carpet you'll still have this, but it'll be a smaller peak here, which is what we call it, seam peaking. Now, why does it do that? It does that because this is the only place where the carpet is attached, is at the seam tape. It's not attached here. So if we take a straight edge and we apply the straight edge across here, we're going to put it where it's attached here. We see that this line, it forms a line right from the bottom here, right across here, and right to the bottom part of this cord where we're pulling as well. So the line of force goes straight across the carpet. When we have a seam in a carpet, we're having the same thing, but it's going to be a smaller dimension, so we might have less of a peak. When we have a peak, any kind of a peak at all, the light on it is going to reflect off it differently. And this is why sometimes when you have this situation, it's going to look like a different color when you look across the carpet and the seam is visible, although technically there is nothing wrong with the seam. It's one of those visible seams that we should not be concerned about.